Coming up on Hoosier Sports Night, IU football falls flat in the season opener in Iowa City.
And both soccer teams were in action over the long weekend. This is Hoosier Sports Night.
Hello and welcome to the 22nd season premiere of Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Elizabeth Ward.
And I'm Johanzy Salamanca.
We start off with football where expectations were high for number 17 Indiana as they looked to build a historic 2020 season. But the game plan fell apart quickly in Iowa. Our Will Trubshaw has the scoop.
The excitement surrounding the start of IU football's 2021 campaign was dampened Saturday when number 18 Iowa beat number 17 Indiana 34-6. The Hawkeyes rolled from the word go, scoring just 4 plays into the game on a 56-yard touchdown run. From there, Iowa would go on to intercept Michael Penix Jr. 3 times, including 2 pick sixes. Penix was just 14 of 31 on the day for 156 yards and the 3 interceptions, and he was sacked 1 time. He didn't get much help either, as 5 different Hoosiers rushed for a total of 77 yards on the ground. Head coach Tom Allen tipped his cap to Iowa, but shared his disappointment with the team's performance overall.
I think the defense did some solid things overall, but still not good enough. Offense is really disappointing for me. I take responsibility for it, but we got to get some things fixed.
All told, the Hawkeyes scored 31 points in the first half, the most allowed by the Hoosiers in a half since 2019 versus Ohio State. Indiana's lone points of the half, and of the game for that matter, came on a pair of Charles Campbell field goals in the first and third quarters, respectively. The Hoosier defense showed some signs of life in the second half, recording a pair of sacks of Iowa quarterback Spencer Petras and forcing a couple of fumbles as well as they held the Hawkeyes to just 3 points. Grad transfer defensive lineman Ryder Anderson acknowledged the team's struggles, but didn't seem fazed by the resulting blowout loss.
You know, I was a good team, and they just came to play, and they came out and executed, and that's why they won the game. But we are a good team too. I saw that with my own eyes that we are a good team.
The loss ended IU's streak of 11 weeks in the AP poll and coaches poll, a program best. A pair of home games loom against 2 non-conference foes, including a September 18th showdown against number 7 Cincinnati. Reporting for IUS TV Sports, I'm Will Trubshaw.
Despite the loss, IU is still 11-6 against Big Ten opponents since 2019. Indiana will open Memorial Stadium Saturday against Idaho. Kickoff is at 7:30 in the evening.
Indiana volleyball traveled up to Kalamazoo, Michigan last weekend to compete in the Discover Kalamazoo Classic. The Hoosiers went 2-1, beating Purdue, Fort Wayne, and Southeast Missouri State, and losing to the host, Western Michigan. Their record now sits at 5-1 before a challenging weekend in Atlanta. Indiana will play all Power 5 conference teams there, their first test against Power Conference schools of the season. Among them is number 21 Georgia Tech, their first-ranked opponent of the season. Make sure to follow Josh Bodie and Brianna Baylog for the updates throughout the weekend.
IU had a quick stint at the top as they suffered their first loss of the season to Creighton Blue Jays in a 3-0 blowout, but they had a quick turnaround. The 9th-ranked Hoosiers took on the Xavier Musketeers on Labor Day to close out the Adidas Indiana Credit Union Classic. The Hoosiers were kick-started by freshman Samuel Sarver with a chip-in goal in the 10th minute, and the score was also the first goal of Sarver's collegiate career. That would be all the scoring we'd see, however, with star goalkeeper Roman Celentano keeping the Musketeers off the board for the entire night, recording 2 saves in a match where he had not tested much. Next up for the Hoosiers will be a road trip to Akron, Ohio to face the 19th-ranked Zips at First Energy Stadium.
And the women's soccer team was also in action over the long weekend, taking on both Western Michigan and Southeast Missouri State. Against Western Michigan, the team entered half facing a 1-1 deficit, but managed to score 2 goals in a matter of 38 seconds to quietly slip past the Broncos. In opposite fashion from the men's tennis team, the Hoosiers would put on a 6 goals total, including 3 within the first 18 minutes of the match. Each goal was scored by a different Hoosier led by Jen Blittock, which scored a goal on 3 shots, 1 net, and 5 shots total. Goalkeepers Jamie Gerstenberg, Caitlin Arkbuckle, and Coast Lipis combined their efforts to shut out Southeast Missouri State to put an emphasis for this win. Their next game will be at home against the Murray State Racers on September 9th.
Monday afternoon, the field hockey team defeated Bellarmine 3-0 in their first home match since 2019. Sophomore forward Anna Gwidzinski scored the first goal in the first 5 minutes with an assist from fellow sophomore forward Jemima Cookson. Freshman midfielder Kira Kurland was the second to score 8 minutes later with the assist from freshman Yip van Warderen. Kurland scored the third and final late goal in the fourth quarter to ensure the win. IU will be back on the field Friday evening in a match at Louisville against Louisville at 6 p.m.
Indiana's men and women's cross country kicked off their 2021 season with their first home meet since 2017. The Hoosiers hosted the Miami of Ohio Redhawks in a dual meet that was highlighted by first for the Hoosiers. In the men's race, sophomore Gabriel Sanchez was the first to cross the finish line in his first race as a Hoosier. Sanchez finished with a time of 25 minutes and 13 seconds for the 8K race. Austin Hackett and Keelan Grant finished quickly after Sanchez, placing in 3rd and 5th. Respectively, rounding off the top 5 finishers for Indiana was Dustin Horder finishing in 10th and redshirt senior Aaron Bennett in 12th. In the women's race, it was a battle between Hoosiers for first place, but it was sophomore Mariah Wellier coming away with the first career race victory, whereas teammates followed quickly behind her, capturing every spot in the top 6 besides 3rd. One of Indiana's top 5 finishers had completed the 5K race under 18 minutes and 20 seconds. Both teams will be looking to expand upon this promising start to the season next Saturday as they travel to Terre Haute for the John McNichols Invitational. Now joining us in studio, we have IUS TV reporter Kara Adams to tell you all about the upcoming IU sports events. Kara?
Thanks, Johanzy. This week in Hoosier Sports, the women's volleyball team plays in the Georgia Tech Classic. They will take on Mississippi State Thursday and will then play Oklahoma Friday morning and Georgia Tech Friday night. Women's soccer is looking to keep their winning streak alive as they take on Murray State this Thursday. This weekend, they will head to Kansas and take on Kansas State on Sunday. Women's field hockey will head out on the road to take on the number 6 ranked Louisville. The number 9 ranked men's soccer team will also be on the road as they play 16th ranked Akron this Friday. And lastly, your Hoosier football team will look to get back on track at home against Idaho this Saturday night. That's what's coming up for your Indiana Hoosiers. Back to you at the desk.
And that's our show for the week. Thanks so much for tuning in for our first show of the season.
Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at IUS TV Sports. For our production crew behind me, I'm Johanzy Salamanca.
And I'm Elizabeth Ward. We'll see you next week.